Alex Crawford has been filing exclusive reports from Ukraine throughout the war, from all over the embattled country. And she joins me now. Alex, I want to talk to you about your experiences there, but play a little bit more of your important conversation with President Zelensky and talk to you about it in a moment.
Are you prepared to do a deal? You've said you're happy to talk.
We can't stop alone all this. No,
How do you think it is stopped? How is it going to
only
stop?
if the world will unite around Ukraine.
They are uniting around Ukraine.
They are not. They are still. It's still very slowly. It's still very slowly. But you can feel it only when you are here, because the people from Europe or USA, it's far from Ukraine. It's far from the heart of this tragedy, and you can't see, you can't understand the details because you are not fighting here. And I understand why.
The British Prime Minister, as a number of other world leaders, say if they do that, if they close the sky, that could exacerbate and make the situation even worse. If they allow Poland to provide you jets and station it on NATO land, that will make it worse. What would you say to them?
What does it mean worse? For whom? So the first question is rhetoric. And we don't need rhetoric questions and answers.
Alex, is fascinating because, I mean, to his perspective, what could be worse than what's already happening to them? What were your takeaways?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he thinks that, well, he thinks the bombs are falling on civilians and the rest of the world is just sitting by and watching. And he feels very frustrated and increasingly angry. He said he's talking to about 10, on average, about 10 world leaders a day. And you've got to remember, this is a man that probably they struggled to remember his name 2 weeks ago. He's talking to 10 of them a day, existing on 4 hours of sleep a day. And he doesn't feel he's getting any concrete action. Very frustrated about what he says is, I don't have time for you to unite. I don't have time for you to all take votes. We need to have action now, and he feels that closing the skies, as he calls it, would have a very direct impact. He also was very particular about calling out the direct hit on the Mariupol maternity hospital, calling it a war crime and saying that he wanted to see those responsible put in jail and punished. So an angry man, one that he said he described himself as strong, because I asked how he was feeling, and one who feels that time is running out for the people of Ukraine. And he says, you're not going to be able to sit by all the time. You know, sooner or later, this is all going to land on your doorstep, and then you'll be sorry and you'll be saying, we wish we'd done it yesterday.
You know, and Alex, there's just been testimony by the head of Defense Intelligence in the Senate just now that Russia is using missiles, artillery, multiple rocket launchers, some precision-guided weapons against Ukrainian apartments, hospitals. This is the testimony. I mean, it just bears what you've been seeing on the ground all over, and that the intelligence assessment here is that Putin is not willing to retreat, but can't win long-term, that the Ukrainian people will just not accept the occupation.
Exactly. President Zelensky made that point emphatically, saying they could end up occupying the whole country. We still will never be Russian, so it will always fail. But there will be millions and millions of deaths, is how he perceived it and how he described it. And yes, on the ground, you know, we've been to the northwest edge of the capital, and you've got to remember that half of the population of the capital have already left the capital. They're not going to wait around and see Russian troops enter or even tie a noose around them and put them under siege. But we've been to the northwest edges, which is considered the weak point, and Russian troops are already inside the perimeter of the Kiev region. They are firing at hospitals. We went to one. We saw how close the houses were, because this is urban warfare. It's very random, it's very indiscriminate. So we saw particular cars blown up, houses blown up. We saw those who were not going to leave or who couldn't leave have gone underground and are living in these dingy, dark shelters that they've made for themselves, mainly old people and young women looking after them, living in this twilight a world, if you like. We went into homes where you can see baby seats with holes in them from blasts and from bullets. So there are certainly President Zelensky and many Ukrainians believe that there is no red line that the Russian troops won't cross, that they are committing war crimes every day and every hour. And at the moment, it's now the capital that's the focus of their attention. And probably the most wanted man in the world right now is President Zelensky. And that's why when we saw him, he was surrounded by security and being moved from room to room even to secure his safety.
Alex, your reporting has been extraordinary. I've been watching all of it. I haven't had the privilege of talking to you before. I just have to say we have such admiration for your work, your courage, your brilliance. Thank you for being with us today. I'm proud to call you a colleague.
Thanks very much, Andrea. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I've obviously got a very close team that you never see who are backing me up and are making sure all of this gets out. And I think that's why President Zelensky actually had to really push him to talk in English, because he wanted to get that message out. He doesn't think it's not his mother tongue, and he wasn't comfortable doing the whole interview in English, but he did it anyway because he wanted to get that message out to the English-speaking world and people, your audience.
Well, you're doing that for him and for all of us, for the world. Thank you for bearing witness.